The Department of Political and Peacebuilding Affairs manages special political missions, which are platforms for preventive diplomacy and other activities, helping prevent and resolve conflict and supporting complex political transitions in coordination with national actors and UN development and humanitarian entities on the ground. This video will explain and contrast two of the current special political missions: the United Nations Verification Mission in Colombia and the United Nations Assistance Mission in Somalia. On the 26th of September 2017, the United Nations Verification Mission in Colombia started its activities, immediately upon the conclusion of the mandate of the first UN mission in Colombia. The founding documents of the verification mission are: first, the final agreement to end the armed conflict and build a stable and lasting peace, especially Section 6.3.3, in which it specifies that the Second United Nations mission should be responsible for the verification of the reintegration of FARC members into political, economic, and social life. Second, the Resolution 2366, by which the Security Council established the United Nations Verification Mission in Colombia. Furthermore, the United Nations has been engaged with Somalia since 1991 to support its government and people to advance peace and security. The United Nations Assistance Mission in Somalia was established on the 3rd of June of 2013, following a comprehensive assessment of the United Nations in support of the establishment of the federal government of Somalia. The founding documents of the assistance mission are the Resolution 21-2, which established the United Nations Assistance Mission.
The mandate of the verification mission is established by Resolution 2366, which is to verify the reintegration of former FARC members into political, economic, and social life and the security guarantees for former FARC members, their families, and communities in the territories. The mandate of UNSOM will compromise, according to Resolution 2102, the provision of policy advice to the federal government and the African Union Mission in Somalia on peace building and state building in the areas of governance, security sector reform, and rule of law. The development of a federal system, constitutional review, democratization, and coordination of international donor support to build the federal government's capacity to promote respect for human rights and women's empowerment. It is important to know that both missions cannot act outside the scope of their mandates.
Regarding the most important United Nations Security Council resolutions of both missions, the main ones of the United Nations Verification Mission in Colombia are: first, the Resolution 2366, by which the Security Council established the United Nations Verification Mission in Colombia and demanded an immediate starting of preparations and provisional work. The second one, Resolution 2377, by which the Verification Mission welcomed the Secretary General's recommendations on the size, operational aspects, and mandate. The third is Resolution 2435, by which the mandate was renewed until the 25th of September of 2019. Moreover, the United Nations Assistance Mission in Somalia has in total 33 resolutions. Three of the more important are highlighted as following. The first one, Resolution 2093, by which the Security Council gave on the definition of a new United Nations presence in Somalia, agreeing that UNPOS should be replaced by a new special political mission. The second one, Resolution 2134, by which it was stated the increase in troop strength. And the third one, Resolution 2461, by which it was stated the extension of the assistance mission mandate until the 21st of March of 2020.
In this section, we will compare and contrast two UNSG reports documents of both SPMs to highlight the main achievements and challenges they have encountered. Resolution 2366. This Security Council resolution establishes the United Nations Verification Mission in Colombia. The main achievements were coordinate multiple initiatives within and beyond the peace agreement, such as rural development, commitments to former FARC members in the reintegration process, and the challenges were to accelerate the implementation process to fulfill a greater presence of the state in zones affected by the conflict to create alternatives to illegal economies. Furthermore, United Nations Verification Mission in Colombia report of the Secretary General main achievements are renewal of the mandate of the United Nations Verification Mission in Colombia. President Duque reaffirmed his commitment to the implementation of the peace agreement and reiterated the support of his office to ensure the Rome Statute criteria were fully met in the context of the country's accountability mechanisms. The main challenges, as stated by the report, are the growing polarization and divisions relating to a fundamental pillar of the peace process, the special jurisdiction for peace, adequately reflecting a gender dimension in economic and social reintegration. Women continue to play a critical leadership role in activities already underway in territorial areas for training and reintegration. Resolution 2093 recognizes the work of UN POS and announces a new special political office, UNSOM. The main achievements were the positive dialogue between the federal government of Somalia and regional administrations, also the international support to Somalia's security and justice institutions. The main challenges were the ongoing humanitarian crisis in Somalia and its impact on the people of Somalia, and the terrorist attacks which have been undermined peace and security in Somalia. Furthermore, the report of the Secretary General on Somalia describes the achievements. Progress was made in translating the political agreements on the electoral model reached by the National Security Council in Baidoa in June 2018 into a legislative text. The main challenges, as stated by the report, are continuing standoff between the federal government and federal member states and the tensions emanating from the electoral process in Southwest State, and the security situation in Somalia, which remains volatile, and Al-Shabaab remains the main threat to the country's security. Among its other mandated functions, UNSOM is helping to build the federal government's capacity to promote respect for human rights and women's empowerment, promote child protection, prevent conflict-related sexual and gender-based violence, strengthen justice institutions, monitor, help, investigate, and report to the Council on any abuses or violations of human rights. Among its other mandate functions, the verification mission in Colombia is assessing progress in the peace process with the former FARC guerrilla group. Furthermore, according to the report of the Secretary General on the United Nations Verification Mission in Colombia, Section 3, the mission is related exclusively to verification, the political and socioeconomic integration of former FARC members, the organization of FARC into a new political party, the socio-economic integration, and must be community-based.
The main observations and findings are stated in the reports of the Secretary General on the Verification Mission in Colombia. The first one is the Peace with Legality Plan announcement by the High Counselor for Post-Conflict, a plan to stabilize the most conflict-affected regions. The stated aim of the plan is to improve security across 50 years. The second one is the Truth Commission has expanded its regional presence and activities. Altogether, more than 30,000 people have submitted to the HEF jurisdiction. Cases under review include alleged FARC kidnappings and multiple human rights abuses carried out by the militaries. The third one is that the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime has reported that as of January 31st of 2019, more than 99,000 families have signed up for the National Comprehensive Program for the Substitution of Illicit Crops. The main observations and findings on the assistance mission in Somalia are, first, that in the UN Strategic Framework for Somalia 2017-2020, it is followed the finalization of key political activities developed in Somalia, such as the competition of the federal map, the landmark parliamentary and presidential elections. Also, the framework has helped for the creation of a new UN system-wide planning. The second one is that there is a continuing standoff between the federal government and federal member states. These tensions have slowed progress in the implementation of the political priorities, as well as the transition plan and the national security architecture, raising concerns that the gains realized so far could be in jeopardy.
Regarding the interesting facts and points of considerations, the verification mission in Colombia has in total 428 staffing. Moreover, all 19 observer contributing countries that were part of the first UN mission are also part of the current verification mission. Furthermore, according to the UN Secretary General's report, at least half of the mission's civilian personnel are women. In contrast, it is stated that the main web page of the assistance mission does not provide the facts and figures data as the verification mission in Colombia. However, the interesting facts are: UNSOM headquarters are in Mogadishu, with offices distributed across Somalia. The UNSOM has two important figures in charge of the activities of the mission: President Senegan, who possesses an interesting background in political processes and mediation, and George Conway, who functions as United Nations resident and humanitarian coordinator. Finally, the UNSOM works in fulfilling stability in different sectors and activities. These activities are political affairs and mediation group, electoral support, rule of law and security, human rights, child protection, women protection, gender issues, and prevention and countering of violent extremism.
The main difficulties, challenges, as stated in the Secretary General report on the verification mission in Colombia are ensuring the funding remains available to holistically address the agreements for peace, the determination on whether or how many of the former FARC will actually participate in the process instead of joining other armed groups, addressing the security of former FARC and communities within formerly FARC-controlled areas, addressing the ceasefire and ultimate peace agreement with other non-state armed groups such as the ELN, addressing the humanitarian concerns particularly along the Venezuela border, and protecting the civil society leadership. Furthermore, regarding the main difficulties as established by the Security Council Resolution 2461 on the assistance mission in Somalia, is that there has been delays towards consolidating Somalia's federal system, finalization and adoption by the parliament. Second one is that Somalia continues to have violations and abuses of human rights and violations of international humanitarian law. Moreover, the last report of the Secretary General expresses its concerns regarding constitutional issues, meaning the allocation of powers and resource sharing, and the security situation continues to be unstable as al-Bashar continues to be the main threat to the country's security.